Purpose Rwanda as an idea is rooted in the belief and commitment of saving and transforming lives that leads to positive, purposeful, and addiction-free generation. With its various benefits, which are healthy population, active citizens engaged in productive activities that enhance increase in income levels, investment and savings, reduction in poverty levels, peace within an individual, the family, and the community. Drugs, alcohol, and sex addictions undermine human values and aspirations, resulting into undesirable consequences including mental health crisis, school dropouts, early and unwanted pregnancies, rising crime rates, increasing number of delinquents, poverty, and avoidable death, as this should be prevented from causing others harm. Purpose Rwanda Show at KC2 aims at fighting addictions, supporting discovery and growth of life purposes towards the realization of self-sufficiency. Follow this show on KC2 every Saturday at 7 p.m. with Adams Kwizera. Well, it's always a pleasure to be having you here right on KC2. And today's episode of Purpose Rwanda for a purposeful and addiction-free Rwanda, we have a very, I would say, a very sensitive topic, and I think we'll expand it because it touches the lives and in reality of some of many individuals out there. We have the topic that will relate on the social and academic consequences of excessive alcohol consumption on students. So I'll be having my today's guest. He's normally here on KC2, but even in Purpose Rwanda programs, he's Benjamin, a clinical psychologist. So I think you will add more on your introduction.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Benjamin Tuyishimire. I'm a clinical psychologist from the University of Rwanda. Previously, I used to work for the University of Rwanda in the Directorate of Research and Innovation, and now I'm working for the organization called Shooting Touch as a health monitoring and evaluation officer. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Well, Benjamin, as I started saying, this topic really touches on many lives of the youth out there, and not only the youth, even other people, specifically those who are in the high school, who are in the colleges and universities. Then, starting from your experience, why do some students at secondary schools, women high schools and universities end up becoming victims of the excessive alcohol consumption?
Thank you so much for such question. It's actually not understandable for people to understand people who are considered as literate or intellectual to end up becoming addicted. But why? To answer this question, we have to understand why and how do people consider the secondary schools, and how do people consider being a university student. First of all, secondary school is a period where the brain development is ongoing. It's actually, for me, a critical period where people are still developing and they are not aware of the decision they are making. There are people who are easily influenced by the friends, by the peers, and we have to remember that also the society or such community, the environment, has set some rules where a person find himself or to fit in such community has to follow what others are doing. So in so doing, people tend to be attracted and tend to be pressured or tend to follow the recreation of their friends. For example, in secondary schools, some people, not in the boarding school, even in the boarding schools there are some, but students who study coming back home, going home in the end of the session, in the end of the day. They have their friends who used to consume the drugs or alcohol
Yeah.
They are their friends, and they have set some rules. And to fit in this group, you have to consume.
Yeah.
And this is a pressure. So children decide to consume the alcohol and the drugs so as to fit in a such group. So the first reason why people or why students from secondary school become addicted to drugs is because of the pressure or the pressure from the friends, called peer pressure.
Yeah.
Because they are not aware of the decision to take, they are not aware of the consequences of drugs. They start by testing and testing and testing,
Yeah.
and become addicted. So the first reason is because of the peer pressure.
Yeah.
And the second reason is the normalization of drinking. So most of the students consider drinking as normal.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
there even say some who says it's a flex, like in the terms that are used normally by the youth.
Yeah.
That drinking is a flex, you know.
You all know the statements that are being used nowadays. Let's drink
Yeah.
They consider this behavior of excessive drinking as normal, as
Sure.
normal life, as they think that they will not spend a long time on the earth. So they consider drinking as normal. And this normalization of drinking ends them being addicted. And for the university students, we have to know how do some students, after ending secondary school, what they think as the university life. Because most of them are free from the parental control. They think the university is a place where someone is free, does whatever he wants, is independent, things like those. And some of them earn a real amount of money from the bursary. So this freedom pushed them to end being addicted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then, according to that little experience, like what are the avoidable social and academic consequences, especially when we're talking about the alcohol consumption? I mean, what are the avoidable social and academic consequences of excessive alcohol consumption among those students? Particularly, we are talking about, because according to what I know, there are a little number of those who can consume it while they're in primary schools.
Yeah.
You find most of them consume them in high school and at the university level.
Yeah.
So, basing on this question, what are the avoidable and on the social and academic consequences of this excessive consumption?
Yeah, the consequences of excessive consumption of alcohol has multiple layers that need to be unpacked. So, talking about the consequences can take a whole day. Because the consequences are somehow interconnected.
Yeah.
Talking about one consequences implies talking about the other consequences. But let's start on the social consequences, or let's begin from the academic consequences.
Let's
and we'll find that
on the academic, because it's specifically that's where it starts.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
Yeah.
The academic consequences relate to social consequences.
Yeah.
The first academic consequences is the poor grades, poor performance in schools. People who used to consume much alcohol, much drugs, they end up losing the concentration, following the teachers, the directors, and things like that. So this loss of concentration leads to poor academic performance, poor grades. Instead of like performing at 80%, someone can perform at 40% or 30%. The other thing is that it is connected to, or it links to maladaptive behaviors such as theft in schools. Someone who used to consume alcohol use any way to earn money, such as stealing.
Yeah, exactly.
Stealing the materials from other students, from colleagues, or even school materials. And this ends up being expelled from school, being chased from the school. And when someone is expelled, this is where the social consequences starts, because even the government of Rwanda is still struggling with people who are not attending school, children who are not attending school dropouts.
Yeah.
So when school dropouts has happened, this is where social consequences starts. There is a conflict with the parents. This is a social consequence.
Yeah. So we're gonna link that to the social consequence.
Yes, we are going to link this with. Actually, we have begun the social consequences, because academic consequences are poor school performance, and this poor school performance leads to being expelled or leads to school dropouts. And when someone has dropped out of school, this is where the social consequences starts. There is a conflict, the social conflict, the conflict with parents, the conflict with the siblings, because of this behavior, this resulted from these maladaptive behaviors. Alcohol consumption also leads to other behaviors, such as unprotected sex.
Yeah.
Because if we do the research among the teenage pregnancies, we can find that there is a high prevalence of people who got impregnated because of the alcohol. The alcohol doesn't allow people to do protected sex. They don't think about the consequences of the action. There is also social isolation. We are talking about the social consequences. Someone who consumes much alcohol, someone who is addicted, is considered as someone who is not normal in the society.
Exactly.
Then being considered like that leads to social isolation, because the person is no longer fitting in the social norms that was set by the community. So this is also the social consequence. This alcohol consumption also leads to mental health problems, such as anxiety, depression. And this depression, this anxiety, though though there are mental health problems, but also mental health is also linked to social health.
Exactly.
You cannot exclude mental health from social life. So those are the social consequences of excessive alcohol consumption, but they are interlinked with academic consequences.
Yeah. There is this narrative that says that some male students, especially in this region of East Africa, exemplify the detrimental impact of excessive alcohol consumption, often triggered by romantic intrigues with female peers. There's a relationship coupled with financial pressures led them to divert their resources towards sustaining those resources of theirs and their love affairs, especially when it is growing, a person is growing there in the universities, there's something like that, then ultimately causing them to neglect their students, even their studies. That's what I mean. Yeah. Then Benjamin, here I want to ask, subsequently they turned into alcohol and drugs as coping mechanism, leading to this addiction, academic detriment. As a clinical psychologist, as someone who knows much of this, of what causes this, what is your advice to the students following this? You showed that you reiterated.
Yeah, the advices are not many, but one advice can save the lives of many people. The time spent consuming the alcohol should be spent with other activities. For example, if you ask a person who is being addicted, surprisingly, you will find that they know the consequences of addiction. They say, my life is not good, I don't sleep, I have lost my weight, I'm not performing well in the school, I'm becoming poor, I'm spending my money in alcohol, for buying alcohol, for buying drugs, things like that. The first advice is to set the purpose in life. For people who are going to start their university studies, we request them to have the purpose. Do you have the purpose of abusing yourself, or you have the purpose of succeeding in life? It's for someone to choose among those two options: either abusing himself, abusing their own life, or having the purpose or being successful in life. The first thing is to set goals what someone wants to achieve, where someone wants to go. And the second is to attend some extra curriculum activities such as sports. Sports also leads to good either mental or physical health, and can also lead to this good academic performance. And the third advice is to form the clubs or to join the clubs. There are anti-drug clubs, there are saving group clubs, there are sport clubs. Joining those clubs will prevent those thoughts that can lead someone to be engaged in consuming much alcohol. So those are the advices. You see, there are not much advices, but they can they can do something strong.
This goes straight to this following question. Like, there's problems you can find that especially are grown from in the families. There is this saying that the charity begins at home. But you find that the alcohol consumption has begun there at home, because he sees his or her father is consuming excessive alcohol. He sees his family members, his siblings are doing it. So, but what are the role of the parents in this case? Because when we say the family is the most important pillar in driving or in developing someone's future, and as well as even the career, even the growth of every person starts there in the family. And the head of the family are the parents. What are their role in this?
One of the predictors of alcohol consumption is the history of family members consuming such alcohol.
Because like if you find that you were born in a family where let's say, for example, your father is a drunkard, even your mother is the same, and then psychologically it kills the mind of that person, of that child, and can later lead to this we are talking about. But let's start there and understand the role of the parents in this.
Yes, I was going to begin with the predictors of alcohol consumption. One is the family history of alcohol consumption, either parents or siblings consuming alcohol. Someone born in such family is more likely to consume much alcohol. And the other thing is the family conflicts. The history of family conflicts also leads someone to engage in such behavior of alcohol consumption. Is some of them think that it's a coping mechanism. Being born in a family with conflicts, with misunderstandings, leads to alcohol consumption. As people think they're coping with the family conflicts, like they want to ignore, they want to forget about the problems in the family, so they end up being addicted to alcohol. And the other thing that's cross-linked to alcohol consumption is the history of the family, poverty, things like lack of food, and the other thing is lack of education, people who are not, children who are not attending schools, they end up being addicted. And the advice to parents is to provide a secure environment, a secure family environment.
Yeah.
Because they understand, if they understand the impact or the consequence of addiction, the consequence of alcohol, or the consequence of family conflicts, they can immediately know what steps to consider, what are the steps forward. Building a strong relationship with the parent-child relationship, communication with the children, advising them, being near the children, providing a safe. In science, it's called a nurturing environment, where parents and children share love, share emotions, share advices, instead of being addicted, instead of instead of transmitting the example of being addicted. Let's show the example of hardworking, for example. Instead of coming home late, drunk, let's come early. How the children in their homeworks, if they are still in primary schools, things like those. Or let's have time to talk to children, because though we're talking about the family conflicts, there are some families with no conflicts, with no poverty, with a good welfare, but their children end up being addicts because their parents don't find enough time for their children to follow the behavior of their children. So for parents, it's necessary, it's crucial to find enough time for the children. It's crucial to share love, to share the constructive advices rather than showing them the bad examples, because children will consider this as normal. They will consider a good husband as one who is drunk. They will consider, girls will consider a good wife to be someone who is always drunk. And what we show the children now is what they will do in the future when they become the parents, because children imitate the parents.
Exactly.
So such environment, nurturing, the advices, hardworking advices, things like those, instead of getting home drunk, can help the children build their future.
Well, straight to this, apart from what is there in the families, let's go outside. In this environment of, the world's environment, we have digital transformation, we have social media platforms, we have and so many others related to that. Therefore, those students in high schools and in universities are the most consumers of those social media platforms, and you find most of the contents which are there are related to people who have money, spoiling themselves in alcohol, kind of that. Like, what do you think on that perspective? What is your perspective on that issue of the digital transformation, but specifically in avoiding the excessive alcohol consumption, instead of emphasizing those youth to be involved in it?
This is a very critical question, because to some extent we have no control about social media.
Exactly.
People, children nowadays have smartphones, easy access to information. But we have to ask ourselves what kind of information. TikToks, they are following the USA singers. They are there watching the prices of expensive
places,
expensive products, things like those. You will understand small children, 12, 13 years old, rewind, things like those. So, and you watch videos. But though it's very difficult, but we have some of the advices to parents and to children as well. You know, there are people who use their smartphones in earning money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think the smartphones were made for people to end up being addicted. Instead of focusing on that, why can't someone use the internet for the academic purpose? For example, if he has the homework to be submitted, why can't you use the internet? Why can't you use his phone browsing the papers, the books, things like those that we have in their academic success, instead of following those people who abuse themselves.
Well, living the expensive life.
Expensive life, because those who are living the expensive life, they have the way they passed it through to achieve their life. So things don't do themselves. You know, things don't get done themselves. People have to work hard to achieve such things.
Yeah.
And some of them sit down and think, okay, I want to look like, for example, Rihanna, and I get married to a rich husband. Those are the narratives from young girls. But they have to know that to achieve such wealth, people have to work hard. And you can't work hard while you are busy browsing such nonsense information. Instead of focusing on that, let children focus on the important thing, on the academic things like those. For the university students, you know, there are some who work while attending the university. Some, you know, we are entering in a digital era in this country. You know, Irembo, you know, mobile money. There are a lot of economic activities that require such tools, such smartphones, the internet, things like those. Why can't university students, why can't university graduates invest in such activities such as being Irembo agent, mobile money agent? It's technology.
Exactly.
Rwanda Revenue Authority agent, things like those, and use the amount of the internet in economic activities than spending your money buying the bundles for the singers, for the stars that have achieved such level in a certain way that we don't know. This is their advice.
Exactly.
Making the investment, thinking about how we can earn a certain amount of money through those mobile phones, internet, or technology tools. Yeah.
For me, like this might be my takeaway advice, because instead of investing like in those activities, in investing in your internet bundles while watching those, I might say useless things, because at the end, you'll be inspired to consume, try to consume that expensive life which you can't afford. Try to consume those expensive liquors, wines, which you can't afford at all. But you should instead invest that amount of money.
Sorry for jumping in. One of the examples that people used to talk about as memes, but which has a stronger message, is that the boys, the university graduates, you will see them building their body, imitating people outside of the country. There's people who have gone to gym. They're busy watching such
bodybuilders.
But how many people use internet for applying for the job or for internship? There are few. And you know, we are struggling with unemployment in this country. And people have smartphones, they have... And the other thing, why does a young lady of 12, 13, 14, 15 has a 1 million, 2 million smartphone with no job? It's nonsense. we have to think big where we want to achieve, than spending much time looking at the things that will not bring anything good, anything important in our life. Yeah.
Yes, that's Benjamin Tushime, and he was our today's guest in this episode of Purpose Rwanda for Purposeful and Addiction-Free Rwanda. So I must say thank you so much, because you have gave us a masterpiece of what especially our youth, our people who are there in high schools, in the universities and colleges should bind in their mind, like in avoiding excessive alcohol consumption. Hence, to have this purposeful and addiction-free Rwanda. Addiction-free Rwanda means having the addiction-free generation, addiction-free youth. That's what we mean. Thank you so much. And we hope we'll see you next time, as you honored today's invitation. You also confirm the next one, if you like.
Thank you so much. It's also my passion to provide such advice, my experience, so as to build our country together. And I appreciate your invitation, and I will be there next.
Yeah, thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Adam Squizera. You can join us, the Purpose Rwanda, on our social media platforms, on Twitter, on X, former Twitter, on YouTube, and Instagram as well. So you can search Purpose Rwanda. You will see us there on those platforms. So until next time, I'm Adam Squizera, and this is KC2 là pour vous. Purpose Rwanda, as an idea, is rooted in the belief and commitment of serving and transforming lives that leads to positive, purposeful, and addiction-free generation. With its various benefits, which are healthy population, active citizens engaged in productive activities that enhance increase in income levels, investment and savings, reduction in poverty levels, peace within an individual, the family, and the community. Drugs, alcohol, and sex addictions undermine human values and aspirations, resulting into undesirable consequences, including mental health crisis, school dropouts, early and unwanted pregnancies, rising crime rates, increasing number of delinquents, poverty, and avoidable death, as this should be prevented from causing all this harm. Purpose Rwanda Show at KC2 aims at fighting addictions, supporting discovery and growth of life purposes towards the realization of self-sufficiency. Follow this show on KC2 every Saturday at 7 p.m. with Adams Quizia.